All right, bet. You guys want to start this then?
Let's do it. Kev, you want to start it off?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll just go into it. So first thing we got to address is the fact that we found out we were denied on Apple Podcast because we were playing Black Bear in our intro.
Yeah.
Super dusty. So we don't have an intro right now. So we're just gonna get into it.
Cold world and not a blanket in sight.
Not a blanket in sight.
Yeah, it was tough. That was a tough pill to swallow.
Oh man. So we're here at Don't Know Radio, episode 3.5, our first of an unnamed series of interviews. We're going to be interviewing just the homies. And it starts off here tonight with Connor Smith. What's up, Connor? How you doing?
We're live out here in the region, baby.
Oh, let's go.
Out in God's country, excited to be on Don't Know Radio. It's a time to be alive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. All right, bet. Well, let's see here. Vogel, how you doing today?
Dude, I'm good. Good, Kev. I played NCAA football for about 8 hours today, so I'm feeling good, feeling like I had a good day. You know, it can only go up from here.
Did you were you playing like my career? Or just
A dynasty. Coach Dick Long is 26-0 in 2 years with a national championship.
Whew.
So
what college do you play for, Coach?
I was Texas this past season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Some might call it a sellout because I chose the best team, but they're probably right.
No love to CCU, huh?
Yeah, I love the Horned Frogs, but Texas was ranked number 1, and I play video games because I like to destroy people. So you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the bread's not going to bake itself. You know, sometimes you got to go where the talent is.
Exactly. I got to get players.
All right, but okay. So before we start the interview with Connor, I had a few questions prepared, and so does Vogel. Anything's on the table. Connor, you're liable to answer, to decline to answer, to ask us a question instead. You can turn it on us.
All right.
Anything's fair game. No, just probably nothing political.
All right.
Cool.
Fair. That's fair enough. That sounds good to me.
Then before we start, real quick, Redbox followed us on Twitter.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I was just eating my chicken tender salad. Yep.
Let's go.
That's what we needed. I was just eating my chicken tender salad, and Kevin texted me and said, hey, look at our Twitter. I said, okay. Kev tweets a lot of good stuff, and I saw Redbox followed us, and that was pretty incredible. So I think the only logical step from here is that, we tag them in this next podcast, they sponsor us, and we're just the official faces of Redbox.
Yeah. They only follow 367 people in the world, and we are now, Don't Know Radio is now one of them.
Yeah,
so,
and I mean, I can't imagine they follow many other podcasts.
Yeah. Pun intended, our lives are a movie. Shout out Redbox.
Shout out Redbox.
Yes,
Make sure you're going there this weekend.
Yes, yeah, well, let's give a quick plug to our unofficial sponsor, Redbox. Thank you for following us. Again, guys, hopefully, maybe staying in this weekend, you're still a little quarantine, go and get yourself a nice movie at Redbox. They got a great selection, maybe a video game. Vogel, you gonna go to Redbox this weekend?
Yeah, there's a couple of movies I'm liking to check out, but I'm not going to tell you guys those right now. I'm probably going to tweet those out this weekend, maybe with a photo of myself at Redbox, hopefully. So TBD, but there's a lot of stuff I'm looking at, Kev. What about you?
TBD. Don't really know what my plans are, but I think there's like a 90% chance I end up going to Redbox at least once in the weekend. Yeah. Just to see how it turns out.
Oftentimes it just kind of happens. You just end up at Redbox. You're like, I don't really remember how I got here, but I'm thankful that I did.
Exactly.
It's perfect.
Hey, also real quick, we got to give a shout out to Vogel, Uncle Vogues.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm an uncle for the third time now. My nephew Lucas was just born yesterday. My dad and I are driving up to Cleveland to go see him tomorrow. So one might say that my draft stock is rising, like pretty high. I would compare it to maybe on NCAA football at 11, the athlete, you're like the number 2 rated athlete, blue chip recruit. Yeah. And then they plug you in at running back and you just happen to be the best running back of all time. It's kind of how I would put it into an analogy for you.
I feel like once you hit number 3, you're kind of starting to build the dynasty of like nieces and nephews, that you're grooming for the next generation.
Absolutely.
That's how you go to mogul status.
Next generation is the fan.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's going to be a long time before I have kids. So, I'm hoping to maybe get up into, the double-digit niece-nephew range. So that'd be great.
Wow, I love
Yeah.
that.
Appreciate
I
that.
love that. Uncle Dave.
That's right.
All right. Hey, I got to give a shout out to Mrs. Lateau, Mama Gitter.
Oh yeah.
She's a huge fan of the pod. Shout out. We appreciate the love. We love that.
I don't really have anything to say to that besides, if I could send her about 30 purple heart emojis right now, I would.
Purple hearts everywhere.
Everywhere, just for her. So yeah, exactly.
Also, Connor, you'll have an opinion on this, and two things. Okay, two things I promise, and we're starting the interview. Per one, in our research about the census, Dan Rice says that if you don't fill out the census, you don't get state funding. But can you confirm that, Connor?
I'm gonna say two things on this one.
Yeah.
I haven't filled out the census yet, and Dan Wright's not my dad, so he can't make me.
Fair. Well,
I think that's
the thing.
Sorry to interrupt. I think that's our headline for maybe, unless we have a little bit of a better quote, is episode 3.5. Dan Rice isn't my dad.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that for an idea. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense because it's like, I just don't get it. Is there a certain like quota, like percentage of people that have to fill it out? Because like I said, there's a good chance people are doing it. Like we know what our purpose is with not filling out the census.
Right.
It's purely for friendship.
It's. I mean, Lil Wayne said it. I think Lil Wayne said it best. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. I think he was talking about the census. Don't do it.
I think you may be right.
Connor, this is the last thing I want to ask before we get into the interview. We think we have our first, and shout out to everyone showing us love on Twitter, our fans, Sheer, Al, everyone showing us love. But we think we have our first stan. You heard me right.
I think it might be Ian.
Ian Soto.
Ian? Ian is.
We have a mutual group chat, so this is an unbiased opinion. What do you think?
I think Ian's a great stan. I think he might be. I'd say out of our chat, us two for sure.
Do you think his intentions are pure? Do you think Ian like genuinely stands for our show? He sounds like he loves our episodes. He was like mad that the last one was short.
I think he does. I know Ian's big into podcasts, and the only ones I've heard him talk about are Joe Rogan and yours. So wow. I think maybe a bit of a Jordan Pippen action.
Yeah, in Vogel, that's what we can talk about because Ian works for Good Jersey. Yeah, Ian works for an audio company, and he's pretty good with this stuff. So we're thinking Ian could be like the Jamie to our Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. So right now I'm kind of the audio guy, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so we need someone. We need someone just kind of facilitating all of this.
Right, kind of like Frankie for like pizza reviews on Barstool. We need a Frankie.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. And before we begin the interview, I appreciate that, Kev. Quick shout out to Maggie Cochran. She listens to all of our episodes, gives me good feedback. So probably one of our biggest fans. So I'd like to give a shout out. But yeah, and also one quick thing is that Connor went to Wabash for anyone that's listening. I don't really have anything else to say to that, but we can begin the interview now.
Yeah, absolutely. So Connor Smith is joining us. Me and Connor go way back. As I said in the last episode, top 2 smartest people I know. Jenna was really upset that I said that. That I didn't have her in my top 2. So
sorry,
we'll see. Now's Connor's time to shine, to show the world.
Does that mean Jenna and I have beef now? Are Jenna and I beefing?
Yeah, I think you might be. More to come in the next episode on that.
Yeah, we'll let you know the fallout of that over the weekend on next week's episode.
All right, bet. So we'll start with the questions. How long did this take us to get going? Like 10 minutes?
Yeah, probably like 10 minutes.
Like 30 minutes, 35 minutes?
Yeah, I'd say that. If we go a little long, it's okay. People want the content.
All right, bet. So Connor, you were a double major at Wabash, with chemistry and mathematics. Now you're working for a blockchain startup. This is all correct?
Yep. Yeah, hit the nail on the head.
What would you say your passion is Like, yeah, what's you know, your career kind of life passion? Where are you working towards?
Wow, dude. Jesus Christ. That was
But yeah,
that was swinging for
That
the
seat's starting to
fences.
get a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
bet
that's
you're not. You don't have to answer anything we ask. You can pass on it.
yeah. No. I think that's a good question. I think like ultimately, I think what would be really cool would be to like I like building companies. Like that stuff's fun. That's why I'm doing like startup now. I think trying to like build a great company would be cool. Like maybe like an Amazon or a Redbox. Wanna, you know?
Ooh. Whoever thought of Redbox, $1 million idea.
Oh, dude,
Oh, absolutely.
I actually know the story of it. I just finished reading a book and it got like a huge shout out. It was someone from so dude, listen to this. So I read this book about the story of Netflix. Well,
Okay.
audiobooked. I didn't sit down and read it. I audiobooked it. Shout out Audible. But it was like towards the end of Netflix when they started, it was like right before streaming and while they were still mailing DVDs, they were doing this like product research to see if they set up Netflix kiosks, if like that could be a thing. And they like did all the research for it, and then they were kind of like, "Hey, now we're going to streaming." And Redbox dude was kind of like, "Well, fuck that! Like, I like this, and it looks like it can make money." So he went and did Redbox.
So you worked for Netflix and then just jumped ship on Netflix?
Yeah, well, because they were going to cut the project because they decided to like double down on streaming, and so he's like, "Well, I think this
So he was
kiosk."
working for Netflix and then he started his own company. He was like, I'm gonna go through with this idea.
Yeah, so it was like him and the original founder of Netflix basically were like leading this product development to explore like if because they were you got to remember like before streaming Netflix was mailing DVDs, that was like their whole
Yeah,
business model.
right.
Yeah.
I
And
remember.
so they were exploring like what if we set up kiosks. And so the founder and the Redbox dude just went around the country and like did all this market research, like setting up Netflix kiosks and like interviewing a shitload of people to see if like they built them, if they would come, and people were like, yeah, this is kind of dope. And then the Netflix board was like, nah, streaming's the wave. And that guy was like, well, shit, I want to go do this. So he made Redbox.
Yeah. Well, Netflix wasn't necessarily wrong with streaming being the
No.
wave, but there was two waves. You know,
Yeah,
there was
exactly.
two things going there.
You
But
can kind
I
of just
love
stay in your lane.
exactly. I love that
Yeah.
for the spirit of Redbox. Like that, you know, they just said fuck Netflix because honestly, fuck Netflix
Yeah, like,
and
all right,
Hulu and Amazon Prime.
because we ride for Redbox as hard as we
Ride for
possibly can.
Redbox. Connor,
Ooh.
my second question for you, thank you for that answer, is what do you think happens after we die?
It's a very good question. Dude, I don't know. I don't know if I believe in reincarnation. I don't know if I don't think it's like I don't think it's like heaven or hell though. I don't know. Like that I don't
We were both raised Catholic. We still both practice Catholicism, right? But church has been closed
Yeah.
for a while. But yeah, so I
Yeah,
feel
it's like I don't know. I think you kind of just like chill and go to some other like spirit realm, and I don't know. Like I think there's like an afterlife, but I think it's kind of I feel like it's probably just like people's just like chilling there, you know. That's
right.
what about you guys?
Yeah, like that's like I mean, yeah, like I would like there to be a heaven. Like that sounds nice, but it's almost like I mean, the idea of eternal life could have a lot of interpretations, and it could just be reincarnation, like continuing to live. You know, like so it's
Yeah.
totally possible. Like
Yeah.
something I've heard a lot on like podcasts that I've been listening to recently, and like a theory I've been reading about. Science sounds cool. It kind of goes like reincarnation kind of goes like hand in hand with simulation theory almost. You know, but
Yeah.
like a lot of people think that. So did you ever listen to that podcast I sent you, Vogel, like a week and a half
Yeah.
ago?
It was really good.
Yeah, that dude was nuts. He claimed like he was put under hypnosis and that he went to like a past life he had lived,
Jesus.
and they were talking about how like frequently, you know, when people are dying like in nursing homes when they're going in and out, they often like report seeing people in the room. And you know the famous thing is like don't go like the light. You know, people are like I see the light when they're dying, right? So this theory is apparently, and I don't know where it's from. Like I've probably seen multiple interpretations of it. They're kind of all the same. It's like they're like when you die, like everyone you've ever loved in your life is like there, and they're like come towards the light. and they try to lure you in. And then once you're in, like your mind's wiped and you're born again and you start over. But like apparently the key to break it is to not go towards the light. But I don't know what happens with you.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, I feel like if you don't go towards the light, like what happens to you? That's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
will I ever get this woke in my next life to even like have,
Yeah.
this decision to make? Like,
If you
this might
come
be my
back as
one-
like a zebra, you're probably not gonna be woke. Let's be honest,
I
or
mean,
like a
it's
giraffe.
crazy.
But that's interesting you say that, Kev, about everyone in your life you love comes around you, because I hate comparing this to a movie, but one movie that I've seen, I think it's called Big Fish. That's where the dad dies, and like when he's basically being carried out to the water, and everyone he's loved and like everybody from his life is there. And when I first saw that, I started bawling. And so like if that's what happens, and then you go I think I personally do believe in heaven, but if you go somewhere else, like let's say you're reincarnated as another person or something else, I think the idea that everyone who you've ever loved or is important to you is there, I think that is like what makes me most excited. Yeah, exactly. And to follow up with that, Connor, I've got a pretty good question. In an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kim gets upset because she loses her earrings while she's on vacation. Which family member says, "Kim, there's people that are dying"?
Is it Kylie?
Good. It's Courtney. Good try. And they're on vacation at that point as well. So yeah.
Yeah,
Kev,
I was gonna guess Courtney. Hey, do you have another question?
Sure.
Is there like a pop culture one? I want to. Yeah. Don't tell me the answer if he gets it wrong, though. I want to try guessing.
Okay. I can.
Yeah.
Kev, how about you ask one? Do you have any more questions to ask him? Because I can ask that. When you're least expecting it.
I have so many questions for Connor. Connor,
Good.
artificial intelligence. This is the wave, right? AI. 5G is what? 5G. Explain 5G, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like 5G is like a key part to AI. Like it is going to be like a key like component, like connecting everything. Can you elaborate on any of that?
So I don't understand 5G entirely. So I know like with each of the other Gs, it's like we went from like 3G to 4G. Like that was kind of like a big jump.
Right.
And what it has to do with is like your internet bandwidth, which is basically like the greater your bandwidth, the more stuff you can like communicate via the internet. It allows you to, so like for instance, like when we went from 3G to 4G, that was like a huge step because now like video could be transmitted a lot faster and like all this streaming stuff could happen that wasn't really possible on 3G because it was too little bandwidth and too slow to be practical. So the big thing with like like a jump between the Gs is it's like your bandwidth is so much higher that you can like stream all this data like way faster. So I know with 5G, that's like what everyone's freaking out about is like, it'll be like so fast that it'll enable all these things that like we never knew was possible. One thing I did hear though is like 5G is supposed to be like 4G you can broadcast like over like probably not radio towers like isn't the right word, but like you can broadcast it over like long distances, whereas 5G is like super short wave. So from what I heard, and that, like this could be way wrong, I haven't researched it, but like basically you would need like in your home to have like true 5G, you would have to have like a shit ton of like mini 5G towers, like one set up in each room basically, because it like can't travel through walls. That's what I had a buddy who did his thesis on like 5G last year, and that's what he told me. So that's what I'm basing it off of. But
is 5G a necessity? Like, do we need to? Can we just like?
Can we just ride with 4G? What's wrong? Yeah, what's wrong with 4G?
4G.
It's I got love for 4G. 4G, like we have pretty, I'm gonna be honest, dog shit internet at my house here. And 4G gets me through a lot. I flip to the mobile hotspot quite a bit because the internet cuts out and that 4G it kicks. But
it does.
I think the thing with like 5G,
Cricket Wireless. I have Cricket Wireless, and I was getting service in Wyoming. Like it's just like it's good. Like that's if I can get service in Wyoming, that's the only time like I like may not be able to get service.
Yeah, I don't think that's a real place, but we'll come back to that later.
I promise I was there.
Still not convinced it's on the map. But I think like the thing is like why people forgot about it is allegedly like because it's so much faster than 4G, it'll enable like applications we can't even conceive of because data can stream so fast and like uh and I think that's where like the tie with AI comes in is it's like AI is like I don't AI is like the most overhyped tech in my opinion. It's like a very unpopular opinion in tech, but it's like it's really just like it's like stats. It's like automated regressions for a lot of it. It's like you give it a lot of data and based on the data, it fits a statistical model and then predicts like based on these events. Like I mean, you can get like really cool applications if like you get a good AI trained and all this stuff. But a big piece of the AI is like getting all the data and training it. And so I think with like the tie with 5G is it's like so much data could be processed so fast that these AIs could learn so quick and
Like
basically
video
get
game
to that
from
point. Yeah, like basically get to that point where it is like super predictive and accurate.
wow.
Do you
Well,
think?
go ahead, Bo.
I mean, being knowledgeable on the subject and much more than myself, do you see if AI takes off and say we get to like 8G or how many Gs we need? Do you see robots taking over the world at any point? Is that a possibility?
I mean, I wouldn't if it was like the Optimus Prime robot, that'd be kind of chill, like mob up with like Bumblebee and Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
Doesn't sound
that'd be pretty dope.
squad up with some Autobots. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're at a kickback with the boys, and Optimus Prime comes up and says, "Autobots roll out." Like, yeah, it'd be electric.
It'd be so
Um,
electric.
it's so I don't know. I like it's probably like possible. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm jaded just because like I'm like I program very shittily though, so it's like the thing is like computers are dumb unless you make them smart, and so I don't think like I see it. I don't see it ever being like where AI will overtake humans. I think because like a lot of like the AI people talk about it's like you throw data at it and the AI will find connections in the data, but like you still need a human to make sense of those connections. And I think like you still need someone with domain expertise to either program the AI or to like have the clinical domain expertise in whatever field you're applying it to make sense of like what that's telling you.
Right.
But if they figure that out, then yeah, probably then I think the robot's got a shot, and maybe Optimus Prime comes to the family reunion in a few years.
That'd be cool.
Is that such a bad thing? Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, my follow-up question was like, okay, so with AI, you said that you kind of have like an interesting opinion saying that you said it's overrated. Most people are like, I feel like AI is just like a scary thing, and you're saying, nah, it's overrated.
Yeah,
Love that.
it's well, like the other
Hey,
thing
fuck
too,
you,
like
AI.
I think like you got to think too, like if robots ever tried to take over, like they aren't just gonna be like Terminator instantly, like the first robots are probably gonna be pretty dumb. And so like think about it, like if you saw a robot walking through town, like no one is gonna chill with that. Like people would freak out. They would go mob the robot in seconds. That thing would end up like a lime bike in a river in like
Can't you just unplug it too? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Is there an on and off switch?
Yeah,
probably.
it's gotta be. But okay, my last question before we get off this topic for you though, Connor, was because you were talking about how you kind of need a domain, like someone to make sense of the data that AI can get you.
Like a
So,
host?
yeah, do you think AI might be connected with the human brain?
I don't know. I know like Elon Musk is really big on that stuff with like
Yeah,
his Neuralink company.
yeah.
It's definitely possible. I just like to be honest, I just don't really really know enough to have an opinion on. That'd be kind of dope though. Except like that'd be like one of those ones you'd have to get when you're like a baby. I feel like as an adult, I wouldn't like be able to walk in and be like, "Yo, strap me up, Elon. Like, I need my Neuralink. Drill the hole in."
Oh, yeah. No way, no
No.
way. That's a decision you gotta be forced. That's gotta be forced upon yourself, and you have no choice over.
Yeah,
Yeah. Seriously
yes.
though,
I would never.
never. I
I
would
don't think
never.
that. If we connected our brains with AI, we wouldn't need this podcast.
No, seriously.
That
That's the. I
Yeah,
mean, I would never do it ever.
hey, we don't know on this podcast, but at least our intelligence isn't artificial. 100%
ooh, that
real.
actually
A
that
bar.
that is that is the question I have for you guys. What's one thing you didn't know this week?
Well, technically that's a bad question, Connor, because it's only been 3 days since our last podcast, so
Right.
I still have
Fair.
4 more days. But I'm gonna answer it. Vogel, you can go first.
Okay, I can go first. Yeah, the one thing did I talk about this on the last one? No, I think I talked about it, but it got cut short because our editor sucks. The thing I don't know how to do is tie on a bread bag with with that little square thing that's got like a horseshoe indent. I'm not talking about the twist tie. I'm talking about like the horseshoe, because if you've got a full loaf of bread in the bag, how in the world are you supposed to make it thin enough and get all the air out to put the little horseshoe on? So I actually ended up breaking 2 of them yesterday. So I just don't understand that. But my follow-up question to both of you is something else I don't know is, where are you supposed to put your bread? Like, is it supposed to go in the fridge, or is it supposed to go in the pantry? Because I also opened up my freezer yesterday and my mother had a loaf of bread in the freezer. So like, what do you guys do usually?
I usually just keep it in the pantry. Definitely what we did at my house growing up too. But I know like putting it in the fridge does make it last longer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more of a pantry guy myself, but I've seen the fridge before. I don't know how I feel about it though. It's kind of sus.
It's a little sus. It's a little sus. I'm the fucking worst when it comes to loaves of bread, because it's just like I don't like eat enough bread on my own to like go through it quick enough, if that makes sense. I only finish like half of it, if that, and then it's expired.
Yeah, that's
bread
like
has such a shitty expiration date, so maybe we should get on but it's so cheap too. It's not something you really worry about. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I mean, and I feel like if I eat enough bread to like go through a whole loaf by myself, then I just gain 10 pounds instantly.
yeah, right.
Big facts.
Anyways, Kev, to go off that, what do you not know?
I was kind of hoping we are gonna skip topic.
We can skip. We can skip.
Go back. No. I'm gonna. Oh wait, I can do mine from the last podcast too.
Which one did you do?
I had 2 because I didn't talk about the Property Brothers, right?
No, yeah. You didn't talk about that.
What I actually learned this week. I didn't know it before. Is that Zooey Deschanel is dating a Property Brother?
Let that sink in.
Yeah, let it in. So good for her, good for him. I know. So that's just something I learned. We kind of dug deep into.
We dove into it, yeah.
Maybe we come back to that another time.
I think next week, Kev, we should, because you had a lot of good points to make about that.
I have I think about the Property Brothers at least 2 hours.
Absolutely. So I mean,
permanent real estate in my head.
That's their goal, I think, is they have real estate in the real world and also in our craniums. So before Kevin's got another question for Connor, to plug what we've got going on next week, we will dive in more on the Property Brothers Zooey Deschanel situation. We probably won't have time tonight, so next week we'll definitely talk about the NBA being back. Got a lot of good stuff and just how that's going to work, and how also the MLB is just absolutely butchering their chance to be liked by anyone again. I mean, like, what are you doing? So those 2 things, we've got a lot of other good stuff to talk about. So we can get back.
Our challenge is going to be top 5 moms in movies and television.
That's right. Top 5 TV moms and movie moms. I almost asked you a question about it, because there's one that I'm unsure if she counts, but I guess I'll save it, and I'll let you know on the next one.
For sure. I honestly haven't started thinking about my list yet. I probably should.
No, well, the one popped in my head, but all right, Connor, I do have a question for you, and Kev, you can answer this to get back into the interview. This is something that's really been weighing on my mind. Actually, it really hasn't at all, to be honest with you. In season 10, episode 2 of Friends, where Ross' family says, "I'm fine." Ross is upset because Joey is dating Rachel, and they go for a double date. 2 questions. What does Ross decide to make on the double date? And bonus question, what is the name of the girl that Ross is dating at the time?
Oh, I should know this. My roommate I had this past year watched every episode of Friends at least 5 times while I lived with her. I don't remember.
I'll give you a hint.
All right.
It's Mexican food. And the girl's name rhymes with barley.
Is it Marley and burritos?
It's Charlie and fajitas, but that's a good guess. Sorry, Kev. I shouldn't. I guess I didn't give you a chance to answer. I'm sorry.
I had no answer. I've never seen Friends. I actually was thinking about it, and don't know if I've ever watched, like, I've seen it on TV. I don't know if I've ever like clicked and like turned on Friends.
Actually watched it. Well, that's super sus, to be honest with you.
Isn't it
Yeah.
a bad show? It's like not that good, not that funny.
It's definitely like a soft
Oh,
7.
Am I
but
just
but
like
like
ruining
it's
Glib right now,
it's
Vogel?
culture. It's culture. It's culture.
Well, here's this. There's probably some shows that I haven't seen that like you would do the same reaction. So maybe not like at some point we'll do a list of TV shows that everyone else says we should watch, but we haven't watched.
Yeah, I would love that. That's just like my life. It's just like, have you
Yeah.
seen this? No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was a big one for me. Never
Ugh.
saw Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question, Kev. I can't talk to you guys anymore.
All right, for sure. All right. Next question. So I want to talk about, this is a little bit of a conspiracy theory. So have either of you guys, probably not, have you guys heard of the phrase Project Bluebeam?
I have not.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's just this theory. I don't know where it came from, but it's this theory. So I'm just saying with like, since Kobe died, nothing's been right in the world. I think I want to go on record here and say that we're gonna see aliens in 3 months. I think you heard it here first. Like, I think all bets are off at this point. Anything goes, and if there was a time to predict it, and now's the time. All right? So,
I mean, at any other point in history, I would just tell you to screw off. But like at this point, nothing would surprise me. I mean, there's been a lot of terrible stuff happening, obviously, but I don't want to say would an alien encounter be terrible?
well, here's what I'm getting at, though. So, like, it seems also like, Connor, you've probably seen it, but like within probably the last like 6 months, there's been a few things that came out. Like the Pentagon released some files claiming that like they had like video evidence of UFOs. They released like 3 videos. Do you guys remember seeing that? It was
I heard about it. I didn't see any of the documents, but I remember like all that stuff happening.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird. It's just like, why are they like, they've been sitting on this for like 15, 20 years, you know? It just like seemed weird they were putting it out. So I'll be short with this. So Project Bluebeam is just a theory that the powers that be, the elites, whoever, would fake using like holograms, would project aliens into the sky, or maybe using like military technology that the average, the public isn't aware of. But basically like just like fake that aliens have invaded to kind of like institute like the new world order. It'd be like, if people, because this is what I do think this, the day that our government like either admitted that they like have confirmation that like aliens and other life exists, I feel like it's the day like Earth changes forever, because then it's like everything's like thrown out the window, it's just like, so I feel like our world's in turmoil. Like, I think that could be a play in someone's playbook.
In their agenda? You mean someone maybe sees all the injustice happening, sees that coronavirus just kicked our butts, and then they say, okay, now's the time for me to release the knowledge that aliens exist to really just push everyone over the edge?
Do you think people would come together or go crazy?
Oh, I think it would be. Or Connor, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I feel like our country is so divisive as it is that it's gonna be even more. It's gonna be like, hell yeah, I can't wait to shake up with these alien dudes, or no chance, we're going to war tomorrow.
Right. It could be super chill.
It could be super chill.
Super chill, exactly. So,
right.
What I was going to say, though, this is also just, it's kind of interesting. Connor, you might be able to have more info on this. Elon Musk is sending like 42,000 satellites into low orbit. Why?
Yeah. So, hold on. Before I hop into that, I want to riff a little on the UFO thing.
Yeah,
because I saw this.
Would you also believe in it if you saw aliens? If the government told us aliens exist, would you believe it or not? That's also my question.
So I would believe it. I think Vogel's right. People would freak out. But here's what I like with this conspiracy thread you got going on, Kev.
Yeah. What's up?
So I saw this Instagram post the other day that said, Bobby Shmurda gets released in December. Talk about a season finale. They drop the alien bomb in 3 to 4 months. That's October, November. People freak out, mass pandemonium. Bobby Shmurda comes out in December, drops a banger. Everyone's united again.
So when
Maybe the
Bible-
bangers about aliens.
Yeah, and when the Bible said Jesus was going to return, like the second coming, they were just talking about Bobby Shmurda.
Like he
I
could
think
maybe
that's
say,
it.
"I see these extraterrestrials. I can't put them on a pedestal," something like that. You know, a little bar.
You acting extra though.
Just a little bit. All right, I've changed. I know. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I know. What's up, Redbox? I love that. Yeah, I kind of think that's genius.
Yeah,
That's
that is
honestly-
very
that-
genius.
That's the
That
best
could be like
piece of content we got out of this podcast, without a doubt.
that.
Oh, no
that, I
question.
mean, that could be like a movie. Bobby Shmurda Saves Earth. You know, like released in like 2021. Everyone would go see that.
Oh my lord. Yeah, we gotta start writing it. Someone's gotta start writing it. It'll sell itself. Bo, did you have any more questions for Connor? I'd have one more, but that was
I've got one more. Let me see. I think I remember it off the top of my head. But Connor and Kev, I'm gonna let you guys both answer this one. If you know the answer, don't say it yet. What's the capital of Connecticut?
Hartford. Oh wait, you said don't say it.
That's okay. I didn't give you a chance earlier, so I'm really impressed. I'll go a follow up. What's the
I got a
capital?
50 out of I got a 50 out of 50 on my states and capitals test in 5th grade, and like I know every state's capital.
Could you? Okay, that's actually really impressive. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
Wow.
Could you, if I gave you a blank map with all, like, obviously the state's borders on it, would you be able to name all 50 based on like I almost said geography? Yeah, geography.
Yeah, I've done that before. One of my old
Yeah.
assistants worked in logistics. We were like during training, we were just messing around to like get a better feel for the continental United States, and it was like I'm pretty sure I got it all right. It was just like a name. You had to drag it to the outline of the state it was.
Wow.
Pretty sure I could do that, but I mean no, not even. I mean the East Coast states are tricky, but once you just say like, okay, you know what Rhode Island's the smallest, Massachusetts looks like, it all kind of makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Connor, so follow up. So do you just not care about like the way America looks, or do you? I don't know. That's like, do you know all 50 states based on geography? Because Kevin and I do.
Yeah, Connor.
Yeah.
Seems like we kind of hate this country. You wanna comment on that?
I mean, that's an awful lot of talk from someone who's pretty convinced Wyoming's on the map. When I'd argue
Nice. Good
Has-
play.
Good one.
has
I have no comment.
still want to see the Carfax on that one. So
Right. That's a great answer. Sorry to get us off topic, Kev. What's the question you wanted to ask?
Connor, my last question is: hopefully our friends still listen to this. I'm trying to put a lot of the homies onto crypto, onto Bitcoin, right? We're
yeah.
inflating our currency with all the stimulus, with everything that's going on. We're just gonna have to keep doing it. Might be a second wave of the Ronies, whatever happens. So we're values going down. Do you think? And for a lot of currencies, a lot of countries, maybe it might not even be America, but maybe another country might adopt Bitcoin. What do you see the next year looking like for Bitcoin? Should people be investing for it? Will it blow up? What do you think?
Yeah, I know. I saw something today. Bloomberg, like the news outlet, they just put out a report saying they project it to hit 20K by the end of the year. I would say, however, they're like
100K.
Yeah, that's the thing. You hear these reports all the time. So the first thing like I found with crypto is anyone who tells you they know what's going on in crypto is wrong. Like they are lying to you. No one knows what's going on with crypto. I personally think like Bitcoin could have a huge year because of everything going on, and it's kind of like the de facto like store of value crypto out there. And I know they're making. Have you heard of like Lightning?
No.
So Lightning.
Wait.
It's called,
Like what comes when it storms? Like when it?
Yeah, I had that last night.
Yeah, they did that. There's a lightning last night. Yeah, we had a storm.
storm's coming, but
Like,
Lightning is like a layer 2 network, which means it's like on top of Bitcoin. And so like the big complaint of Bitcoin is like super slow, only like so many transactions per second, not scalable. That's like why basically that's like why all these other cryptos emerged, was to try and basically be like a faster or like better in some way Bitcoin. Well, Lightning is like, it sits on top of Bitcoin and it's meant for micropayments. So you can transact basically instantly. And then for as long as you want. And then whenever you're like done transacting, you can like close your wallet or whatever. And then it settles to Bitcoin. So basically it like opens what's called like a state channel, and you can transact on that as many times as you want, as basically instantly. And then when you're done, it closes, settles to Bitcoin. And so I know there's a lot of big advancements going on with that. So like if that pops, like Bitcoin could be huge, because that's like everyone says like Ethereum is like the like DeFi chain for like decentralized finance.
Mhm.
Possibility, I don't know. I'm not really like sold on Ethereum. I think if like Lightning goes, Ethereum will pop, or Bitcoin will pop, and I think Bitcoin regardless will have a big year, just because like the world economy is off the shits right now. And
Exactly.
so it's definitely like I could see people going all in on crypto.
Oh yeah. So I hear a bunch of different stuff, and what you said was hilarious about it. Someone acts like they don't know, because I feel like I always read people who just like, they're like, I'm right, and just doing hot takes. Like, imagine if that was like what you did for a profession. Like, that's what like like our media is. It's just hot takes. They just make
Yeah,
a bunch
Totally.
of hot takes, right? Like
exactly.
10% of the time.
They
It's
just
like what
hope a
we
headline takes off.
Yeah. Remember who called the aliens first? But it was me. With the cryptos, I've heard like XRP is a good one in terms of liquidity. They have a lot of people on the board for XRP come from like big banks, Wall Street people. I've heard good things about Monero, but then I was listening to a podcast and this dude was like, no, fuck Monero. He seemed pretty cool, so I kind of trust him. But that's like the privacy coin, right? And
Yeah.
then, so I guess my question is two questions. Lightning isn't a crypto. That's like a platform. It's a software kind of
Yeah.
thing.
So it's technically, it's still all Bitcoin is what you're transacting, but it's like a software you would run. I know it's like it has its own like node on the network, like how you would have a Bitcoin node, you have a Lightning node.
Okay.
I believe it's just Bitcoin you're transacting though. I'd have to double check more into it. But
Are there any other cryptos you think will pop? Yeah.
yeah, one that it just launched this past week. It's been big hyped up for the last like 3 or 4 years, and they finally had their mainnet launch. Polkadot, very big Polkadot guy. Uh,
Really? Well, do you know what the symbol is for that? I'm playing this on my phone.
it's either like PL, I think it's like PLDT or it might just be. Oh, I think it's dots. I think dot is the token. But yeah, what they're trying to do is basically be this like crypto network that connects all other crypto
Yeah.
networks. And so you can have like a private network, public network, any of these different networks can plug into Polkadot and transact. So like one of the big problems in crypto and blockchain is interoperability, where like Bitcoin doesn't communicate with Ethereum. So like if people want multiple, they have to hold multiple, and it's kind of like a big pain in the ass. And so what they're trying to do is basically create this platform with its own native token that other blockchains and cryptos can plug into for as long as they need, and then like transact across all other networks.
Wow.
And
Oh,
the guy who founded it was like one of the founders of Ethereum, and he actually like wrote most of the initial code for Ethereum, and then his team did most of the dev work for it, and then they kind of said like fuck this and went and did their own thing, and they're probably like the best devs in the world. There are some like
Kind of
keyboard
like the story
warriors.
of Redbox.
Yep.
a lot of parallels.
I'm just
i'm
saying.
i'm
Do
i'm
you know,
saying
can the average person buy this? Is this like on Coinbase or Binance? You know?
um I don't. So dude, it was kind of weird. They had like, it's one of the more messed up token sales, because they did they like did it, and then they didn't they like have sat building the network for the last 2 years and just launched it. So I know they just sold some more. I don't know if you can buy it right now, or they said that there might be some on like secondary markets you could buy. I don't think it's on Binance, but I know they're getting ready to do a big token sale later this year. So you can probably do it then. And then another one that is on Binance that I'm pretty bullish on is called IoTeX. Literally just listed, I think, this past week because they just had their mainnet launch as well. We've been doing stuff with them for 2 years, though. The symbol is IOTX.
Okay.
But what they're doing is trying to create this cryptocurrency for IoT devices. And they actually have like a real world product, like a hardware product, like, the Google Nest Cam that you like put as a security cam. They made one that runs on like their cryptocurrency and blockchain. So instead of Google owning your data, you own your own data and like control all of it. And then all those devices like run on their native like cryptocurrency. And they have the next 12 to 18 months to like basically build this network of real world devices that you would use like their crypto to power.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable.
But unbelievable, Connor. Thank you so much for all this info.
Yeah,
but when you
man.
were talking about Google, the Google Nest, Google had those like glasses. They came out, I think it was called Google Glass. And you were literally like the dude from Ned's Declassified. Like you could like see stuff on your glasses. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Did they break?
So from what I heard happened with that, it was like basically that was like Google's way of testing if they wanted to get a book about Oculus. And so they just wanted to put like a super low cost thing out there to see if people would bite on it. And I don't really know whatever I know that was like the original intention of it, but I don't really know whatever came of it. I don't know I feel like if Google wants to, like it's probably like, like flick of a button for them and they can just like get into VR and be like a powerhouse pretty quick. But they probably got flamed on Twitter for those, I'd imagine. Like, could you imagine a bunch of people walking around in those? Like, it would not be. You would get roasted on social media. Like,
we don't need that right now.
Insta influence.
Yeah,
we're all stoked on each other.
We need to be. But yeah, Connor, that's perfect, man. That was really informative. A lot of stuff that we don't know about. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Kev, you got anything else?
No, that was legendary shit. Connor Smith, Steve Smitty. Connor, what's your Twitter? Plug your Twitter for the thousands tuning in.
Find me on Twitter at ConsensusCon.
Let's go.
So,
yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. This was a blast.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, it was perfect. This has been episode 3.5. We got episode 4 coming out sometime next week. Make sure you guys plug us. I think we got almost 90 followers on Twitter. We're getting to 100 pretty close.
And Redbox.
Yeah, I would like to say though, for our first 3 podcasts, for our first 3 podcasts, we had 231 listens. So I mean,
let's go.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to everybody. And that's about it. Like ELE.
Peace. All right, guys. Thank you very much.